To place an image on your InDesign document, you can drag and drop it in, or you can go to File, Place, and you can just draw it, and you can then use the black selection tool to adjust the frame. So if you want to bring in the frame, I'm bringing this in so I can make it fit a little better. I'm bringing the frame out all the way, then I'm clicking on the white circle to be able to manipulate the picture inside the frame and make it fit within that frame like this. There's also a way to make the image slightly transparent. If I go up to the top here, there's this little feature here where you drag that down and that affects the transparency. I'm going to put this at about 75%. And now I'm going to drag in some other images that I want. I'm going to do them up at the top here so that it doesn't just paste it in place of the photo there. So you can see I have it here, moving it around. Gonna click off, gonna bring that in from here, same way, gonna put it off at the top somewhere so I don't replace the husky image. This one had a bigger frame, so I'm gonna make the frame smaller and try to get it to fit around here a little better. And I'm also going to resize the image, scale it up using the scale tool there until it looks in proportion and about the same size as the catcher. I'm going to show you a cool layering technique with this back image. I'm going to select it. This is a cool way to make it look like the text is a part of the picture. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste the exact same image down, drag it down to where it's exactly overlapping the other one here. I'm going to bring that part of the frame for this top image down. You can see the back shines through. I'm just making the frame down because I don't need all of it. Then I'm going to grab, in the pen tool here, I'm going to grab the Add Anchor Points tool. And around the outside of this husky drawing that I added on top, I'm going to add a bunch of points out here. And I'm just guessing how many I'll need. I'm adding a bunch of points. I'm dragging the white arrow, and you can see now with the white arrow I can move those points and kind of go around this husky to create almost like cutting it out in Photoshop. It's just a little bit quicker method for easier things. So I'm going to bring these down, kind of trying to get just the top of the husky cut out. I'm not even messing, notice, with the bottom of the husky. I'm just leaving that layer, part of the layer, as it was, because I'm just going to put a word behind this husky's ears a little bit. So I'm bringing this down to where just his head and ears are popping out a little bit, and that works right there. So now I have these two huskies stacked on top of each other, and I'm going to grab the text tool. I'm going to draw my text box. I want it kind of large. I'm going to pick a font that I like. I like this sports font here. I'm going to pick a size. 72 is probably not big enough, so I'm going to go check and see how that looks. Okay, it's plenty big. I actually need to make it a little smaller. And then I'm going to bring the size of this frame down a little bit, and then I'm going to drag it and put it just over the ears here. And I'm actually going to highlight this text real quick and change, I want it to just be an outline in the inside to let the picture come through, so I just swapped those right there. And now I'm going to select this husky, and I'm going to go to Object, Arrange, Bring to Front. And if you notice, it popped up in front of the word softball. And I'm actually going to try to select the softball and bring it down a little more, so you can see it looks like it's a part of the image where the husky's popping out on top, the words behind it, and the background's in the back. I'm actually going to take another word, put husky on here, make it a little smaller, and bring that to the top of softball here. So you can tell now that's kind of integrated in. To see it without all these blue lines, I'm going to go to View, Screen Mode, Preview. That way I can kind of see how it looks. Got a weird thing going on here because I did the translucent thing at the beginning. So I'm actually going to fix that and change that. I'm going to select my background image and go and actually make it back to 100%. And I'm going to select that husky layer that's on top. If I can here, grab my direct selection tool and grab that layer, and I'm going to go up and make that 100% too. You can see how it's still kind of see-through there. So I'm going to undo and put that back where it goes and make it 100% too. So now that looks a little better, I think. So you can see it's just a second layer that's on top there, and it makes it look like the words are behind. I'm going to add a square, a rectangle, so I'm going to grab this rectangle tool, and I'm going to draw it on here, a shape. Right now it's got no line and no fill, so I'm going to want to fill that. I'm going to select a color kind of from this uniform using the eyedropper, I think from right here. Okay, I like that. I'm going to select that object, and this one, adjust a little bit. I am going to bring the transparency down because I want it to just be a little bit lighter, not so harsh there. So you can kind of see the clouds through there now with the transparency. And now I'm going to manipulate this shape. I'm going to make it look like a little quote thing. I'm going to use that add pinpoint tool. I'm going to add 3 points down here on the bottom, the add anchor point tool. I'm going to grab my white direct select tool and click on it and drag that middle one down, and now that shape's a little different. It looks like a call out box. So that's a little way you can manipulate shapes any number of ways using that. I'm going to add some text now into this box. I'm going to start it out on the side so it doesn't make it go in the box. I can move it around. I'm going to go up here, pick a font that looks good, pick a size, again, type in, if I can type this without errors here, round 2 of playoffs. And I'm going to bring that in here, decrease the frame size a little bit so it's not overly big, and I'm going to change the color on this. I'm going to pull that green again, then I'm going to click on the outline layer, get rid of that green, and pull the yellow from here so that we have that kind of look there. And I like the way that looks. Going to adjust it a little bit here. Notice I'm clicking off of things when I'm done using them. I'm clicking off to where there's nothing, and this is done.